Hello there my Jedi and Sith friends, and welcome back to another Star Wars video. We've got some big Mandalorian updates to talk about. The Mandalorian and Grogu World Tour has been hitting Europe, and last night was the one in London. And while the consensus from the fans in the build-up to the movie has been rather mixed, we learnt quite a lot from Pedro Pascal, Sigourney Weaver, and Jon Favreau. Someone who hasn't been in attendance is Dave Filoni. After the Maul Shadowlord finale event, he's returned to working on Ahsoka Season 2 this week. And Jon Favreau confirmed to us a couple of days ago that they will be discussing the future of the Mandoverse in the days ahead. But in his place was Kathleen Kennedy, which I did find quite hilarious. Even though she's no longer Lucasfilm president, she was a producer on the film, and she's sticking around for future movies. It's also important to note, the other day Fives Walker, one of the newer leakers on X, claims that the reason Kennedy is staying around is so that she can make the Rey movie. He's been adamant, the Rey movie's still coming. The strikes a few years ago kind of slowed them down a bit, but they are trying to get back on schedule. And that movie is one that Kathleen Kennedy reportedly is very passionate about. But in terms of big reveals, I'm getting the impression from things the actors have said that there is going to be a bigger surprise than we anticipate. Now I've seen, and even given, lots of crazy different theories. In recent weeks I've seen people say that maybe there is a post-credit scene, maybe they are trying to incorporate some of the Ahsoka stuff right at the end. Others have suggested we might see Luke, something that might have gone under the radar and is something for the casual fans to cheer about. Or maybe it's something which I've suggested, that Rota recalls the story of how he was saved by Ahsoka and Anakin, maybe triggering Clone Wars era flashbacks. Beginning with Sigourney Weaver, who is playing New Republic officer Colonel Ward. In an interview with USA Today, she makes it very clear that her character has connections to the rebellion of old, and not just in the abstract, but in the sense that the movie makes a direct allusion to it. And if you read between the lines, it sounds as though an original trilogy character might be making some kind of appearance. USA Today says that after Sigourney Weaver spoke about flying an X-Wing, she teases that Ward's squadron in the film has a surprise that, quote, will make people happy. A little gift from the past. Now, because they say the surprise is relating to the squadron itself, I wonder if a member of the Adelphi Rangers who we haven't seen, or someone from the wider New Republic who's helping out with this mission, is someone we already know. And when she says the past, I think she means the days of the rebellion, not the recent past in Mando. Some fans have suggested we might see Wedge Antilles, but my guess is Nien Nunb. Why do I say this? Some of the early rumours for Ahsoka Season 2 have claimed he makes an appearance there as well. So did Lucasfilm recycle the Nunster, as I affectionately like to call him? And is this one of the many connections Jon Favreau said the movie shares with a TV show? I do think Disney is hiding something huge in this film. The last couple of Mando TV spots have been teasing that Din is gonna die, and one of the many they released on Star Wars Day had Din addressing Grogu as if it was a post-mortem message, something Din recorded for Grogu in the event of his death. And this brings me on to something that Pedro Pascal said yesterday in London. He mentions that an important theme in the film is Din Djarin's existentialism. Din is realizing that Grogu is going to outlive him, whether Din dies sooner or later. He's really pondering upon the question of what happens if I die. He's trying to prepare his son for a life without him. And then, Pedro said something which has been picked up on by several outlets, that in the movie there is a, quote, moving and very special scene, an extended sequence that bears everything down to its simplest form. But, he says, I can't say more. This has led fans to think something monumental is going to happen that could change the trajectory of the Mandoverse. But here's why I push back. The Star Wars social media accounts have been saying that this could be Din Djarin's last mission, but I don't know if they'd kill off the main hero in a movie that brings Din Djarin to the big screen. Mando's first cinematic outing and he dies? Would they really do that? Especially considering a great deal of the audience will be children, going to the cinema with their friends, with their siblings, with their mums and dads. Would they really take this creative risk? Considering the fact that the marketing for this movie seems to imply they're trying to play things very safe. Either way, they're preparing us for an emotional, extended sequence. And across the world where the first 25 minutes were screened, The Mandalorian and Grogu has drawn strong fan reactions. The vast majority have been positive, but one drawback which has been mentioned a few times at this point is the CG is a bit shaky. Not necessarily with the huts, but certainly with the ATRT scenes. And here is what The Hollywood Reporter says. The film's opening was really strong, with some extended action that particularly benefited from the IMAX format. Several noted that most of what has been shown in the trailers and clips was taken from these first 25 minutes, suggesting that writer-director Jon Favreau might be holding back some big surprises from the latter portions of the film. If most of what's been shown in the trailers is taken from the first half, we're basically going in blind for the second. And while that is a very clever marketing tactic to make us curious, I have to wonder if it's going to pay off. But one of the biggest criticisms, even 2 weeks out, is the question of, what is The Mandalorian and Grogu actually about? The trailers don't give us a consistent plot thread, but in the first 25 minutes, this question is answered very quickly, which begs the question, would it really have been that hard to address this in the promo material? Just throw in an extra line or two, that there's a lost Imperial Remnants warlord who's gone missing. The New Republic has been trying to hunt him down, but they can't, and so they recruit the help of Din and Grogu, 2 New Republic Rangers who've been doing great work. Even the quote-unquote main villain, being played by Johnny Coyne, is rumoured to be in the first hour of the film, even if he doesn't appear in the first 25 minutes. His card from Colonel Ward's deck is there, Din is sent to the huts to get a clue after helping Rotta, and even that clip of Johnny Coyne's character being captured, I also assume is going to be in the first portion. Not the first 25 minutes, but connected to the plot of the first hour or so. So we're really going in blind. One of the only scenes I can think of that I assume is in the second half is Grogu with the reptile creature, when Grogu is meditating all on his own, has his Dagobah moment, and comes across the alien who asks him, "Are you scared?" Well, you should be. Today, my friends, we also have some new information about Commander Coyne. It's reported that at one stage he tries to kidnap Grogu. He's noted as being a collector of rare creatures, and back during the days of the Empire, he was very feared within his ranks, and as a warlord, he is one of the most brutal remnants, and he's been doing a great job at staying anonymous. The New Republic has no idea what he looks like. Now, returning back to some of the early reactions, The Hollywood Reporter goes on to say this: if there's a recurring negative point, it's that the film struck many as feeling like an elevated version of a TV show, rather than having the grandeur of the Skywalker saga films. And that does seem to be a consistent opinion across the board. I would say there's probably some pretty cinematic shots, especially in IMAX. I'm hoping the ice planet scenes and Adelphi feel grander than the TV show. But something fans absolutely adored was the score by Ludwig Göransson. For the film, it's less space western and incorporates elements of pop, synth, and even at times, hip-hop. So just some new information in this one, guys. Are we getting surprises on May 22nd? I'm very excited to see it and share with you my honest thoughts. That's going to be a very fun review to make. And if you enjoyed this one, please be sure to give me a big fat thumbs up, subscribe if you're new, and may the Force be with you always.